So in this video today, I actually wanted to show a full sketching process where I'm doing a full spread in my sketchbook and going through my entire process from start to finish with sketching and painting and inking and just everything in between. So if that sounds like something you'd like to watch, then maybe stick around and watch this video. If you're new around here, hi, hello, how are you? Feel free to let me know in the comments down below. And I like to create dope art content and hopefully curate a chill atmosphere. So if that sounds like something you would enjoy, maybe stick around for this video. And if you're not new around here, what is up, my dudes? Let's jump right in. I really wanted this entire spread to be just full of things that I love to doodle. So we have like some lamb puffy sheep dudes, some like noodly boys, some like long newt looking things. And I was just having like a lot of fun with the doodles on this spread, which is always really nice. I'm currently kind of using this spread as a little bit of inspiration for the spreads that I am doing in my sketchbook currently, because I stray away a little bit from like this very cluttered full spread, and I really love the way that this spread came together. Like, it's probably one of my favorites in the sketchbook right now. And so I just really keep going back to it again and again throughout my sketchbook to use it as inspiration, because I was really happy compositionally with the way everything just kind of fit into the page and it looked very crowded. Not to mention the fact that I just really liked the content that I was doodling and drawing. I was really trying to work on making these long, sort of oblong shapes very, like spatially aware. I wanted it to look like these creatures were in a 3D space and had like overlapping elements in them. And so I was really focusing on that for this spread. And also just trying to create like more dynamic doodles where like it's not just something sitting or standing and looking off to the side. It's actually like a creature that is doing something or being goofy. And I was just really trying to harness everything that I love to doodle and just barf it onto this spread, honestly. I'm kind of like taking a step back and thinking a lot about how I want to fill the space. And, sometimes it can be a little difficult to come up with all of these small doodles to, doodle and draw and paint. And like, what do I want to draw? And what do I actually want to have as a part of the spread? And, it doesn't sound like something that should be like difficult to do, but sometimes it is hard to find that amount of doodles. And so I just kind of kept thinking, and I was like, how can I fill this space? How do I draw something that I really want to draw? What else can I draw? What will fit in this space, etc. And then you can see in the video that I've actually cut the doodling of this one giant blob on the bottom of the page because I absolutely fucking hate the way that it turns out. And so I've kind of cut every part of the video that kind of involved focusing strictly on it, because I end up actually like taking old scrap watercolor paper, covering it up, and doing much better doodles over the top of it. I was also still on this theme of like stingrays / manta rays and like trying to figure out how to work with their squiggly, weird, kind of flat bodies. And so I was doing some derpy little sketches of some stingrays to fill the space and to just, kind of find more content to draw because I wasn't sure. I wanted to have a nice variety on the page, and it was something that I was kind of trying to learn how to draw anyways. And, when it comes down to it, that's the point of the sketchbook, right? Is trying to develop a style and learn how to use that style and draw new things in it. I start out painting and I like almost forget that what I normally do is colored pencil over top of all of my graphite sketches so that there's just less gray overall on everything. And so like there's this one little sheep dude who ends up being painted for a second, and then I like, oh shit, need to put colored pencil over all of this. So I remember to do that. But I end up going in with these really nice colors. It's sort of like a pinky like Naplesy yellow themed page, and I was actually just really pleasantly surprised by the colors. It's not really a combination I've done before, and so it was really exciting when I was like, wow, I love this color palette. This is really, really nice. And I feel like the whole spread kind of just looks like these two colors like splattered everywhere. I wouldn't say that there's like the most contrast or anything, but it's a sketchbook spread, and I really ended up loving this color combination. It's always crazy how much darker the colored pencil makes all of my sketches. I feel like on video, they just turn out so much better and you can really see what's going on in them and what I was trying to go for, which is always really, really nice to see. As you can see again, I like cut the giant blob guy because he just doesn't work out the way that I want him to. And you're gonna see me do the same thing when I paint him. And by the end of the video, I'm not sure that I necessarily videoed myself painting it. I don't think I did. But I do plaster over it with, you know, like something else, more like stingrays. Actually a stingray that ends up becoming a huge inspiration for future paintings and stuff, which is just awesome. Sometimes you just don't get it right on the first try, and honestly, watching this video back is kind of reminding me that I want to try and do a giant squiggly dude again. Just, I don't know, there's something about the way that he was all knotted up, and then I think the way that I tried to color him that just didn't fit well for me. It all just ended up getting all really splotched together, and I just didn't like it. Oh, and obviously I am still going back to that sour violet color that I've been obsessed with because it's just so beautiful. I never expected to like a color like this and be able to like use a color like this, honestly. And I was just like really, really happy that I felt like I could use it and found a way to fit a bolder, more vibrant color that definitely is not muted into color palettes that I like and enjoy using and still feel like the kind of art that I want to make. And I sort of go about this spread by like painting how I normally would with like a small round brush, and then I go in with a square flat brush and I kind of go over the sort of shading and highlights that I kind of set up with the smaller details and just try and give it a little bit more oomph and a little bit more of a dynamic nature to it, and you can really kind of see my brush strokes and see the individual strokes that I was going for. It just makes the whole I guess like doodle look a bit more dynamic in my opinion, and it gives it a bit more life and more intrigue, and I just really have been loving using a more, I don't know what to call it, like a style that involves more harsh brush strokes and dry brushing and making like individual strokes kind of the star of the show. It's just really nice to see what I've been working for years and years finally come to a point where it's like, whoa, this is what I've been missing, is these individual strokes that really just make the shapes look a little bit more interesting to look at, because that's the whole point. You know, I was getting really bored with the way my sketches were looking, and I was like, this is just so simple, and I do want to bring more to my pieces and my sketches and my paintings, and how can I do that? And then I was just kind of like, okay, we're just gonna try having more really crisp strokes on there and like bolder, blockier, that's the word I've kind of been looking for, blockier looking shading and highlights, and it's been a lot of fun. As always, I end up going in with a little bit of gouache to just deepen some things up. I feel like watercolor, it just doesn't totally do it for me anymore. It's fantastic as a base, and I can do and complete some pages with it, but especially with using such light colors, I find that I can go in with some gouache, and that opacity and density of the gouache really helps the colors pop and stand out and adds a little bit more contrast. My issue currently is just figuring out how to not overdo it, which you'll see in this like squiggly dude, the big guy on the left, that I do end up just really overdoing it and disliking. I don't know the way. I honestly can't tell what I hated so much about it, but like he gets overworked. I think that's what it is. I just overwork him. I made it too complicated, and I just wasn't ready for it, honestly, and that's totally fine, because the sketch that I end up loving that goes over top of them is, I don't know, like worth having made this to make that, if that makes sense. It really is just like so much fun to see something that is so wholly representative of the kinds of little doodles that I want to create, the kinds of things that make me laugh and make me enjoy the art that I'm creating. And hopefully, there are other people out there who enjoy this art too and want to take part in my progress and journey as I continue to make art the way that I want to, and the way that hopefully will appeal to some people out there at some point. because I really do have, like art goals and things that I want to be able to do and create, and it would just be so amazing if at some point I can get to the point where there are people out there who want to own something that I've created and put a lot of hard work in because they like my style and like the way that I paint and draw and express the things that I want to, and that resonates with them, even if the thing that resonates with them is the goofiness. I'm not trying to make anything that is super meaningful in any way. I just love that the things that I draw more often than not make me laugh, and if they don't, I tend to cover them up and try again, because that's literally the point of what I'm making. I love the strange, odd, kind of goofy art that I have been able to create, and it's why I started the channel, because I felt like I was finally ready to kind of show people what I'm capable of and to start fulfilling these kind of, I don't know if I would say dreams, but like goals of wanting people to want my art, And the only way to make that possible and see what's going to happen is if I go ahead and start posting, which is exactly what I did a couple months ago. And I've just kind of been slowly figuring out how I want to create this content, doing it purely for fun, pretty enjoying myself, honestly. I quite like the process of voicing over, being able to personally see like a sketch on a page go from a blank sketch to full of color and life. And I've just really enjoyed being able to watch my art become something, because I've never seen that process before from myself. I watch it all the time on my TV and while I'm making these sketchbook spreads, but never have I seen it of my own art, and it's like a lot of fun to look at, honestly. And talking about the content of the video, honestly, I wouldn't even say that the giant blob is like that bad. I think it was just that I had way too much of that dark color, and nothing else on the page and their spread had really that much of those deeper sour violet tones, and so it really stood out like a sore thumb. So before I went about covering it up, I wanted to go ahead and line everything else and see how I felt about it, and obviously I've spoiled that I do go back later and kind of redo and cover up this squiggly blob with something else that I like a lot more. I also feel like it's very funny to watch these videos play back, because it's like, wow, inking really does take as long of a time as it feels like it does. Like, I'm sitting here and I'm like, I don't really have much to say about my inking process, but I have 2 more minutes of it, so I need to come up with something. And it's just like crazy to me that I have to take so much time to get these, thick, bold lines that I want, and it's just so like scary when you're doing it. So the fact that it genuinely does take as long as it kind of seems like it, because I've got this all sped up like times 5, so the inking probably took like 15 or 20 minutes alone, which is just terrifying. That is way too long to be that tense. So here's a nice little look at the added sketches that I did, and a little bit of a closer look at the individual sketches that you've already seen me make. I'm totally in love with the other doodles that I drew. I just really love them, and I really enjoy that they fit the vibe of the page. And I hope that you guys enjoy them too, because I was really happy with this spread and with this process, and I was very excited to share it and just kind of chat. I want to start kind of giving my videos a little bit more structure and giving like a topic that I want to talk about throughout the video. I think that will help me repeat myself less, and I get that you can repeat yourself on YouTube videos because you're always, or hopefully always gaining one or two new people or one or two new people seeing it, so they won't know everything about you and what you've said in past videos, but I don't want to repeat myself too much. So one of my little goals is to start trying to remember to give myself a theme for a video and chat about that theme as best as I can, and just kind of, help me have a topic that I can kind of stick to if I'm not sure what else to talk about. So if you've made it this far into the video, thank you so much. Feel free to do those YouTubey things like comment and subscribe, and hopefully I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye!